welcomed in relation to your prominent role in the conference in Sydney. Most of the international people may know you or may not know you. So can you say a little bit about yourself, your own professional background, before we move on to closer to the conference?
Yes, so my name is Sari from Poelje, and I'm a TSTA in the organizational field. This is my 30th anniversary in TA this year, so I'm really happy to celebrate it in Sydney together with everyone. What I do is I have a coaching and consultancy school based on TA. So I teach coaches and consultants about sustainable behavioral change in organizations. On the other hand, I'm an international consultant, so I work for multinationals, helping them to reorganize and to deal with cultural change issues.
There was, Sari, one word jumped out. It was the word sustainable change. Sustainable.
Yes.
Can you say a little bit more what you mean with that?
Yeah, when I started at 22, I thought I was born and raised in American schools, so I thought if we give enough sanctions and rewards, people will change their behavior. And of course, what happens is people change for a short time, and when you turn around, people change back again. So one of my lifelong journeys is to find ways to help people change their behavior in a sustainable way so that it's a long-term change. And I've tried different methods to do that. So I studied Gestalt, and I studied NLP, and I studied group relations. But TA is the method that really stuck. Every concept in TA teaches us about patterns of behavior. And when we talk about sustainable behavioral change, we're really talking about interrupting patterns of behavior that don't work anymore for people. TA is the ideal method for that because of the conceptual framework around patterns, but also because it treats behavior both at the cognitive level, at the emotional level, and at the behavioral level. And under that, at the existential level. So it helps us understand how people have constructed stories in their lives which maintain the behavior. I guess at the existential level, what we're doing is we're helping clients change the stories of their lives, replace them with stories which are more empowering than the stories they've constructed.
To go a bit closer to the theme of the conference, which is on groups, the working of groups. Can you say something how that idea, that philosophy, that even that methodology relates to the working of groups?
I keep on coming back to structure and dynamics of groups and organizations. It was written in 1964 or so, but it still gives us such an up-to-date way of looking at systems. And the framework it offers us is that Byrne actually told us that there are 3 levels of groups that are active at the same time all the time. So we have a structural level where we're concerned with boundaries, roles, processes, hierarchy, and power. And then we have a second level, which is more the interpersonal or the relational level, where we're concerned more with the dynamics in a group, social ranking, with influence, with personas. And there's a third level, which is more the psychodynamic or existential level of the group, where we're more concerned with imagos, with the interlocking scripts in systems, and the way they express themselves in transactions. Now, anytime someone is in a group, all of these levels are active at the same time. And TA offers us a language, a conceptual framework to intervene at these levels to help people create sustainable behavioral change.
So, coming even closer to the conference, you will do a keynote speech on one of the days. Is there anything that you would specifically put an emphasis on in your speech on that day? What would be your focus?
The reason I'm talking about team agility is I'm really concerned with how to create an agile system in a very turbulent world we have today. And what I see in organizations now is traditional organizations don't really work anymore. I really believe the time of the great leader is over, and that we have to find different forms of organizing ourselves. Because I work a lot with multinationals, what I see is most multinationals try to defend themselves against turbulence by creating even more hierarchy or control. Because it's the illusion, if you have enough hierarchy and control, you can deal with this movement in the environment. The opposite is true, of course. The more systems try to control or defend, the less adaptable they become. So because I was getting again and again requests from multinationals saying, we want to stay in control but maintain our innovative power, and we don't know how to do that. That was the request I was getting. So I started a research program on what are the factors that actually contribute to agility. How can you stay flexible, adaptable, innovative, while maintaining enough systemic control that the organization works? And what I'm going to talk about is the results of our research.
Okay, that sounds really exciting.
It is.
Will be. Yeah. And and because also particularly in transaction analysis research has become increasingly more validated and more important for the whole notion of the credibility of transaction analysis. So it's great to have some sort of research input in that sense also in the conference.
Yeah, I think it's also important for our TA community actually, because we face the same questions as multinationals. We are a multinational, and for us as well as a community, the question is, how can we grow and expand, maintain some form of boundaries in community, while at the same time accommodating all this change and this growth. And in our research, we found 4 dimensions, 8 factors, which really, if you hit those factors, then you can maintain this agility while at the same time maintaining the community. So I'm going to present it as research, but very pragmatically. So I'm going to present it in a way that will also hopefully help our TA community grow and develop.
Is there, just to close it off for now, is there anything that you still would like to include in this little introduction for the conference, something that you would like to stress?
If we take this 3 level of looking at groups, so the structure, the relational, and the psychodynamic, some people might say that the psychodynamic level is very, creates an imago of a group which is very difficult to manage. Because let's face it, the first group that we ever experience is the family we're born in, and most of us have different experiences within families, and we take that imprint with us when we work in organizations. But I think if there's a possibility to create a sane structure, an agile structure, and we create a community of cooperation at the second level, that we can really deal with this third level and help people to get into a way of dealing with groups in the way they're meant to, which is to have a cooperation amongst each other, to support each other, where 1 and 1 is more than 2.
Thank you very much, Sari, and I look forward to meet you in person and in the conference as a whole in July.